Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Tonight we've got a late night insight video, or a quick hit video if you will, on a house I have never talked about on the channel before. And I love doing these. It's been kind of a couple months of discovery lately. I was going to say a couple weeks, but really it's been a couple months of discovery. A lot of early impressions, a lot of testing scents I've never smelled before on live streams. And mostly that's because of you guys. I wouldn't be able to do this without your assistance and without people sending me stuff. And I'm very, very grateful because, I'm not on the free bottle list like some perfumers. I kind of have to rely on my own finances and the generosity of the community. And the community has been way, way more generous than I ever imagined. It's one of the biggest surprises since I founded the YouTube channel a little over a year ago. Today, for example, I dropped my early impression video on Serge Lutton's La Participe Passé, and I actually did a video on it, and I've really enjoyed wearing it today. And so I wanted to do just a quick hit. I'm wearing this before bed just to kind of give my thoughts. There's very little information on this, very few videos on the internet about it, and actually this brand is brand new to me. So I wanted to explore the brand, see what it's all about. And sometimes I'll pick a fragrance off the beaten path to do that, believe it or not. I don't like to pick kind of the hype beasts. Sometimes I like to start with the ones that are just no one talks about. And this is one such fragrance. It's from the house of Arquiste, and it's called Flor y Canto. Flor y Canto. And Flor y Canto by the house of Arquiste is the fragrance we're going to talk about today, which surprisingly, according to Parfumo, is discontinued. So it's still on the Arquiste website. We'll talk about some of that very, very soon. But according to Parfumo, the production has officially been discontinued. It's from 2011, and it's a floral green scent created by Rodrigo Flores Roux. And that's a very important piece of information because I like what the brand has done, but let me read you a little bit about the brand since the brand is brand new to me. The brand is brand new to me, and then we'll kind of dive into this fragrance. Just kind of an initial impression. I've only had it on my skin an hour, so just kind of a quick, video. I hope this kind of helps someone if someone might be interested in something like this, but also it's a good intro to the house for me. So here's what the brand has to say about themselves. Inspired by history and curated by Carlos Huber, a Mexican-born architect, restoration expert, and fragrance designer, Arquiste Parfumeur is a scent collection transporting you to evocative moments and historical sites. Excuse me. Each scent restores a particular olfactive experience by using rare ingredients identified through meticulous research interpreted with master perfumers. This background translates stories, landscapes, and architecture into top, heart, and base notes. Using high-quality, sustainable, and responsibly sourced materials, the Arquiste Scent Collection allows you to unlock personal revelations and experience history in a most intimate way. A scent is a time capsule. It can evoke our most intimate memories and dreams and open doors to distant worlds. And it says, considered the first international niche brand created by a Mexican designer, Arquiste Parfumeur is the scent partner behind global luxury and retail brands such as Vacation Inc., St. Regis Hotel, J. Crew, El Palacio de Aero, and Trudon. Okay, I don't care about any of that, but I want to give you a quick intro on the brand and the fact that it is considered the first niche brand created by a Mexican designer. And this fragrance is actually created by a citizen of Mexico, a Mexican citizen, Rodrigo Flores Roux, who has family in Mexico. Now he's also, of course, I think he is a Givaudan perfumer, if memory serves, but I can't exactly remember. So I think he kind of spends his time going back and forth between Petty and New York and Mexico. But I know he's a Mexican nationalist, and his family is in Mexico. And that's important because this scent focuses on a certain part of Mexico. We'll talk about that. So it's $125 for 50 ml. Again, you can still buy it on the Arquiste.com website. And so here's the little blurb, and then I'll kind of tell you what I get we'll go through the notes and I'll just talk a little bit about the fragrance just to kind of give you, just kind of scratch the surface on this. Cause you know, I'm not going to wear this as my scent of the day. It's not actually my type of scent anyways. I would think this is much more traditionally feminine leaning. However, I can tell the quality is there and I see why people like this house right now. And the price is not outrageous. $125 for 50 ml nowadays is very, very fair. So it says, in Aztec, Mexico, flowers were an august offering to gods and princes, transporting you to a temple altar where heaps of flowers exude their intoxicating scent. Floricanto is a white floral fragrance with a subtle Copal incense base. We'll talk about that in a minute. Focusing on the highest quality natural essences and absolutes of 5 native Mexican flowers: Mexican tuberose, Magnolia grandiflora, plumera, marigold, and wild acacia. And so the description is this, or the history is this, because remember, each Arquiste fragrance is supposed to take you to a certain point in time. And the pictures on the website are kind of like, you know, a Mexican style skull, you know, like a decorative skull with the bottle on top, you know, some smoke rising in the background, some of the flowers we just discussed, the native Mexican flowers, almost like they're a gift at the altar. You know what I mean? A sacrifice at the altar, if you will. And it says, history, August 1400, Tenochtitlan, Mexico, on the most fragrant festival in the Aztec calendar. The rhythm of drums palpitates as a wealth of flowers is offered on temple altars. Billowing clouds of copal act as a backdrop to the intoxicating breath of tuberose, magnolia, plumeria, and the intensely yellow aroma of the sacred marigold, developed with Rodrigo Flores Rue. And it goes into a little bit of a description. It says, 5 Mexican flowers offered on temple altars believed by the Aztecs to be the intoxicating scent of Cochiquinzal, sorry, I don't know how to say it, the goddess of beauty. Natural, opulent, and explosive. It's an eau de parfum. It says, our bottles are the highest Italian quality with our signature A engraved metal cap, as well as the newest technology for an invisible spray tube. I've never heard that one before. More research. In the Aztec language, a metaphor for poetry is in Ochital, in Quicatal for Canto, flower and song is basically what that translates to, which exemplifies the importance of flora in Mexico. And flower was used as a reference to eloquent, elegant, and well-used words, something I just butchered. 2 Aztec deities were closely associated with flora. Ochipilai, the prince of flowers, was the god of summer. The exquisite body of his wife, Cochiquinzal, was believed to be the source of all floral scents. The Aztec gods received their offerings through fragrant smoke. Go figure, you know, that's basically what perfume means, to smoke, to perfume. White copal and aromatic tree resin used by Mesoamerican cultures as burned incense acts as a cool menthol backdrop to the rich floral scents. The velvety scent of Mexican tuberose is spiked by a warm but cold sweetness that was thought to attract benevolent spirits. Flowers and vegetables for the Mexican city market are still cultivated in an area composed of floating gardens known as chinampas, which dates from Aztec times. Very interesting stuff. And cool way to kind of present a fragrance, right? So let's talk about the note listing. So here's the note listing according to Parfumo. You get Tajitis, or marigold, and I believe that's how you're supposed to properly say it. It's not Tagetes, it's not Tajits, it's Tajitis, apparently. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm working on my, you know, sometimes my Texas accent won't allow me to do it, but I try. Mexican acacia, leaves, tuberose absolute, frangipani, southern magnolia, copal resins, Mexican vanilla, and benzoin. So some of these things are very specific. Like, I can't say I could tell you how Mexican acacia smells versus acacia. I can't say I could tell you how Mexican vanilla smells versus regular vanilla. But they're trying to be very specific to the region, which I think is kind of cool for a niche house. This is the type of thing that I think a niche house should do. Something unique, something interesting, not something too corny. Some of the niche houses nowadays are way too corny to me. This is kind of cool and interesting. I can get down with this. And the most important thing is the smell. And Rodrigo Flores Rue made a beautiful fragrance. Not my type of fragrance, not something I would run out and buy. I don't want to smell like white florals a lot of the time. That's not my favorite scent profile. However, there's some very interesting things here because, this Tajitis basically has this musky, almost wet hay-like smell, they say. Almost smells like straw, right? And it's a smell that insects actually don't like. So if you're ever sitting outside, you can actually keep these. They're perennial plants. You can keep them in pots, and insects will stay away. They do not like the smell of Tajitis because they're supposed to be kind of this bitter herb, musky, wet hay-like smell. A very bitter, distinctive odor, if you will. It's one of the reasons why they don't put this type of flower in like floral bouquets very often, because the overpowering smell of the flower can kind of take over the rest of the bouquet. And so it's kind of a spicy, aromatic, herbal type smell. And you get that in the opening, along with this, what they're calling in the note breakdown, the olfactive period says Mexican acacia. Now, again, I can't say I can tell you the difference between Mexican acacia and acacia, but if you don't know, acacia is basically another word for mimosa. So just as marigold is another word for Tajitis, acacia is another word for mimosa flower, which most people know the mimosa has this very powdery, honeyed-like smell. Almost iris-like is kind of the way to think of mimosa. It has this balsamic, very complex, very, a lot of powders and very enriching type smell. And so you get that in the top. And then the keynote to all of this, I think, is this Mexican tuberose. And actually, thanks to my brother Russian Adam and being kindly sending me all these beautiful ingredients, I have some real dark tuberose right here. Now, again, I can't say I can tell the difference between the different types of tuberose, but smelling the real thing is, I used to think I don't like tuberose. Tuberose is a very narcotic type smell, extremely narcotic. It's a very milky flower. It has, almost slightly honeyed aspects. There can be a fruity side to it, but mostly what I get in the real tuberose absolute is a much more green smell. The tuberose is a very tough flower to handle for some. And here it's done to perfection. You get some of those coconut qualities of the tuberose. I think that's one of the reasons why eucalyptus was used with tuberose in Carnal Flower by Frederick Maule, because Dominique Ropion wanted to use some of the camphoraceous aspects, because both plants have this camphoraceous side, the eucalyptus and the tuberose. And here, they've kind of found a way, I think, to amp up the creamy, honeyed, almondy side and to push down the more camphoraceous, green, almost unpleasant side of things of the tuberose. It's still a very narcotic smell. You can definitely pick out the tuberose. In fact, I think the tuberose is probably the star of the floral show here, which it's apt to do. It's a very strong flower. But it's softened with kind of the sweetness of magnolia. And magnolia can have this light, fruity, almost like fizzy champagne-like smell. Very relaxing is magnolia. And so it helps kind of tame down the tuberose, right? And then probably one of the most interesting things that you notice in this fragrance is it's not just incense, it's not frankincense that they decided to use. They decided to use what's called copal. And copal is basically this ancient Mexican incense that the Aztecs used for forever, back in the day, way back in the day. And there's a very interesting line here that I pulled up from the internet. It says the Aztecs called copal the blood of trees because this tree exuded this resin. And so the tree itself is classified as the Proteum copal. And the Aztecs would use this tree gum mixed with calcium phosphate to kind of glue gems in their teeth. So whenever you see kind of the recreations of the Aztecs, and they're kind of trying to be historically proper, and you see they've got gems glued to their teeth, that's the resin that they actually used. But just as important, because they discovered it in huge quantities, so just as important, they would use it to scent the smoke incense that they used in their rituals. And since it's native to, I guess, kind of these tropical forests, and it grew pretty well in the shade and stuff like that, they were able to gather huge amounts of it. And some of it they traded with the explorers, but much of it they used for many parts of their lives, from the teeth, I mentioned the dental work, to the incense burning. And so it said that the way that they ended up farming these is that whenever the insects kind of attract the trees, the trees would react by producing drops of resin to kind of plug the holes from the inside. And so whenever they would do that, the harvesters would use this special curved knife to scrape off the fresh drops of copal. Very similar, I think, to the process of harvesting the frankincense trees in, let's say, Somalia, Oman, places like that. So they would kind of roll them into this ball and turn them into this rock hard. It would harden like amber. You know what I mean? And so in a nutshell, it's supposed to have this piney, lemony, where have you heard this before? It's supposed to have this piney, lemony, incense-like smell. I can't tell you that I know the difference between incense and copal. It's used in many of the same ways, for many of the same reasons, it seems. Spiritually, it's used in to bring prayers to the Almighty, if you will. Frankincense and copal, it seems like, have been used for hundreds or thousands of years, right? And so it has this, to my nose, it almost smells, to my nose, it almost smells maybe a little closer to elemi, because it has this fresher, lemony, pine-like quality. You still get a little bit of the smoke, but not as much as some types of incenses that you've smelled, right? And so I think maybe that's what makes it a little bit different, is the fresher take on incense. And here, it's very elegantly used by Rodrigo Flores Rue. He just kind of uses it as a base with a little bit of benzoin and a little bit of that Mexican vanilla. It's not too sweet. It really allows the white floral, heart to take over. Very quality fragrance is what the word that comes to mind for me is quality. This is a very quality, high grade scent. Very well done. The fact that it's not my thing, the fact that this is not my type of fragrance, I can't, dock points against it. I can't hold that against it, because I really feel like it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. That beautiful floral, recreation of the Aztec temple flowers with this very subtle copal incense, all native to the proper historical land in Mexico that it's supposed to be recreating. Beautiful fragrance. I really enjoyed getting to know this, and I've really enjoyed getting to know this brand, and I can't wait to explore more. I have some more samples, so you guys will be hearing more on the brand of Arquiste before all is said and done. So if you guys have experience with the brand of Arquiste, if you have experience with Floricanto, which again is discontinued if you believe Parfumo, do let me know. And I appreciate everyone, watching, supporting, everyone who sent me some of these so I can do these videos. Very much appreciated. I'd love to hear your thoughts. There will be more early impressions to come on the channel, and more live streams. And don't forget, Wednesday, March 8th, we're going to have Mark Sage on, who is the owner and perfumer of a very popular, or getting, I should say, he's steadily growing in popularity. This is Clandestine Laboratories. And so we're going to have him on. I'm hoping his sample set will arrive before March 8th of 2023. But it's going to be 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So join our live stream. Ask him a lot of questions. It's going to be a fantastic time. And again, I love interacting with you guys in the comments. Do please leave a comment. Leave a like and all the good stuff I'm supposed to say as a YouTuber. And I hope to see you guys next time. Cheers. Bye now.